Stroll's performance in Shanghai was unfortunately another chapter in what has been a series of disappointing races for the young driver. It's becoming increasingly clear that Stroll's presence in the F1 grid is more a testament to his father's influence than his own driving prowess. Despite recent comments hinting at a mysterious future in the sport, the team seems keen on maintaining a long-term collaboration with him. However, after his latest debacle in China, it's safe to say that his father might want to reconsider his plans for the team. The aspiration for a championship mentality is a noble one, but with the current state of affairs, one can't help but wonder if Lance could be the Achilles' heel for Aston Martin. The relationship between the team and the driver is complex, and it begs the question, could Honda be the missing piece in this puzzle? The Chinese Grand Prix was a disaster for Stroll. After being outqualified by his teammate Fernando Alonso, he went on to collide with Daniel Ricciardo during the safety car period. This bizarre incident left F1 experts and fans alike in disbelief. Stroll blamed Ricciardo for brake testing him, a claim that seems far-fetched considering they were in the middle of the pack with at least 3 cars ahead. This incident ruined what could have been a solid race for Ricciardo, who was forced to retire. Stroll's decision to label Ricciardo an idiot only added fuel to the fire, sparking further discussions about his professionalism and place in the sport. The stewards penalized Stroll with a 10-second penalty, which he served at his last pit stop. Finishing last was the icing on the cake of his dismal performance this season. Aston Martin is in a fierce battle with Mercedes for P4 in the Constructor Championship. Until this race, the difference between the teams was a mere point in favor of the Silver Arrows. However, after a strong sprint race showing from Hamilton and Russell, combined with Hamilton's impressive P9 finish after starting at the back of the grid, the gap has widened to 12 points. Out of the 40 points that Aston Martin has scored in the 2024 season, 31 are courtesy of Alonso. He has tripled the amount of Stroll's points and is sitting at P10 with 9 points to his name. After the latest accident in China, fans are even more frustrated with the team's statements about Stroll's future in the sport. Aston Martin sees him as a vital part of their future due to his technical knowledge. However, with only one driver scoring nearly all of the team's points, one can't help but wonder if Aston Martin is destined to remain in the midfield unless something changes in that second seat. The accident in China has sparked further discussions about Stroll's future in the sport. When asked about the crash, Stroll denied responsibility, blaming it on a concertina effect. He claimed that someone braked at the front of the pack, causing everyone to stop. He found it unfair that he received a penalty simply because he hit Ricciardo. However, the facts remain, Ricciardo was not leading the race, and they were both in the middle of the pack. Stroll should have been more aware of what was happening in front of Ricciardo, rather than focusing solely on the back of the Red Bull car. Ricciardo was understandably furious after the incident. After watching Stroll's onboard camera, he noticed that Stroll wasn't even paying attention to what was happening in front of him. This lack of professionalism in the middle of the race is concerning. Many people are questioning why Stroll is still racing in the sport. The answer is simple. His father owns the team, and Aston Martin has stated that their future lies with the young Canadian driver. The technical knowledge that he provides to the Silverstone-based squad seems crucial when it comes to committing to a driver of Stroll's caliber. However, this quality of Lance could be very well exercised in the simulator as well as other championship categories that Aston Martin races in. Even Max Verstappen was taken aback and couldn't help but laugh when he saw how Lance hit Ricciardo from the back. The incident was so bizarre that it left many wondering whether it happened during the safety car period. As we delve deeper into the world of Formula One, a pressing question emerges. Should Aston Martin continue to invest in Lance Stroll as their second driver? With Honda's arrival on the horizon in 2026, Aston Martin is looking to elevate its competitiveness among the top teams. However, to achieve this, they need 2 drivers consistently scoring high points week after week. As it stands, it seems Fernando Alonso is the only driver Aston Martin can rely on. Honda's unique relationship with its drivers is well known. We've witnessed how they've supported Yuki Tsunoda during his underperforming stint at AlphaTauri, only for the Japanese driver to make a remarkable turnaround at Racing Bulls. He is now considered one of the top contenders for a seat at Aston Martin, should there be a vacancy in the near future. However, the Silverstone-based team appears unwilling to part ways with Lance Stroll. This stance, possibly influenced by pressure from Lawrence Stroll, Lance's father, has led to a self-destructive pattern within the team. This is largely due to the father-son dynamic present in the team's ownership. When discussing Lance's future, Aston Martin's team principal, Mike Crack, stated last week that while the news was primarily about Alonso, Aston Martin is Lance's home. The entire project has always revolved around him, and the team values continuity. What happens in the coming weeks remains to be seen. On the other hand, Koji Watanabe, the director of Honda F1, stated that Honda's ultimate goal is to have the best possible lineup from 2026 onwards. If the current shenanigans continue, it's safe to say that Lawrence will face significant pressure to change the driver's lineup, even with Alonso, who is not even in the same league as Stroll. Honda had extensive discussions before agreeing to collaborate, especially after their disappointing stint with McLaren back in 2017. Therefore, it's crucial for Lance to understand that just because his father owns the team, it doesn't guarantee his seat's safety once a more influential party joins and starts demanding results. This situation raises several questions for Aston Martin. The most important one being whether they're ready to disrupt the comfort zone they've created for Lance and strive for better results, or if they're content to continue battling in the midfield despite all the investments, thereby disappointing fans worldwide. It's safe to assume that there will be numerous protests against Lance if his racing maneuvers continue in their current manner. With all this in mind, there are many uncertainties that need to be addressed once the Silverstone-based squad enters the new era with Honda. This is primarily because Honda will be joining them after a successful venture with Red Bull. The last thing they would want is to watch Lance sabotage every opportunity they have at competitiveness. If nothing changes, this will undoubtedly trigger some much-needed actions from the Japanese manufacturer, who will undoubtedly have a much greater say in the driver's lineup than Mercedes, the current engine supplier of Aston Martin. With all this in mind, do you think Lance should leave the team as soon as possible? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned for more updates from the world of Formula One.